Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Single Parents Podcast, the show that is far from traditional. If you end up enjoying what you see and liking what you hear, consider subscribing to the podcast, sharing the podcast with a friend, and rating the podcast 5 stars on your favorite podcast hosting platforms. That way we can tell those algorithms out there that the show is legit, and it will pass it along to more people. All right, well, here's a little taste as to what you can expect on today's show.
Okay, well, I'm really sharing something controversial. Not really.
Okay.
Basically, I got in trouble in college and I got arrested. What's up, our favorite podcast listeners? We're so glad that you're here each and every day. We are so thankful for you, and I'm thankful for Anthony. And I'm just like, I'm in my feels because I feel like I've had a
Yes.
really tough week when it comes to work and whatnot. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise because obviously you want to be really busy at work, especially with the type of work that I do. So it's really good when it's super duper busy, but it's also incredibly stressful. And I feel like I'm not answering people's phone calls, I'm not answering people's text messages. And then when I get home and I want to get back into the groove of things with texting and calling people, I just don't even want to talk to anyone. I hang out with my son, we watch movies, and then I put him to sleep. I get in bed and I knock the freak out. So I'm in a mood. So, I'm excited to have a filming day. What's tea with you? What's going on?
How am I? I feel like I'm not too bad because at the time of putting out this episode, we're a day before Thanksgiving. So it's Thanksgiving time
Thanksgiving
and
Eve.
it's Thanksgiving Eve. Looking forward to go eating. I don't have the girls for Thanksgiving this year. I have them for Christmas. So Thanksgiving this year, I'm going over to a friend's house, and I guess it's technically like a Friendsgiving thing, but there's going to be like other relatives there and stuff like that. So it's like a mix between a family dinner and a Friendsgiving thing. And I'm only responsible for bringing the silverware, so I don't have to cook. And my friends are
Right.
smart and they know not to ask me to cook. They might listen to this podcast, but I'm just gonna share this little tidbit here. And if they listen to it, say la vie, it's okay, it's a fine. But I was smart. Years ago, I cooked a disgusting dish and brought it to like a potluck thing.
Wait, what was it?
So I was in my early 20s, bachelor days, me and my roommate, and we had to bring the dessert. So what we did
Oh
is
God.
we got Pop-Tarts, put frosting on them, and then wrapped those frosted Pop-Tarts up in bacon. So we called it bacon wrapped Pop-Tarts. Yeah, we brought that for we brought that for dessert. And
Did anybody eat it
no,
besides you guys?
nobody even tried. I don't even think we ate it, to be honest. I
That
really
okay, you know what I see that as? I
What?
literally see that as a waste of money.
Yeah, looking back at it, yeah, especially the bacon, because bacon's not cheap. But
Yeah, right.
yeah, but it worked because nobody has ever asked me, or maybe even him too, to cook or do anything to contribute to like a social dinner gathering ever again. Like I'm always the plates, the silverware, maybe drinks like canned soda, but I have gotten out of ever having to cook everything. And people, they still bring it up. They still bring it up. Like, don't ask Anthony to cook, even though that was like, what, 13 years ago, because he'll bring bacon wrapped Pop Tarts. So it
Oh
makes it
my
easy
gosh,
for
wait.
me.
So can you still not cook?
No, I can cook. Oh yeah. Because I've had to, especially having kids. Like
Yeah.
you had to learn that. But I don't know why people assume that I just still don't. So I don't correct them. I just say, okay, I'll bring the silverware because
Yeah, you
that's.
could do the silverware, the plates, the napkins. You
Yep.
know what you could do is bring
hmm
like the liquor too. That's an easy one.
True. Yes, it's tricky though because Thanksgiving's obviously on a Thursday. but I have to work the next day. So
So
I'm
do
trying to,
I.
and you do
R.I.P.
too. And I don't have my kids to hold me like accountable of like, well, I need to drive home, so I need to, not be, but like I have no kids. It's just a whole day with friends, drinking, really no responsibilities that whole weekend. So I'm like, how do I balance enjoying that, but knowing like Friday, I'm gonna have to get up early and sit in front of a computer for 9 hours.
God.
So we'll see. We'll see. I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. I always rally. I always make it work. But yeah, anyways, that's how I'm just I'm thankful for this season. I'm thankful for the food. I'm thankful
Oh,
for
yeah.
lots of things, lots of things, lots of things. And that was kind of what Jessica and I decided to make this whole episode about. Like, I'll let you share like how you're doing in a second, but I think it's just a nice segue into the fact that sometimes this is honestly what I've been thinking about. Like sometimes as a single parent especially, or just an adult in general, really, it's easy just to be bogged down on the million things that you have to do and what doesn't work and what the stressors are. And obviously, I'm not saying just to pretend like those things don't exist, but it's easy to lay your head down on your pillow at the end of the day and just reflect on all the crap instead of maybe even just taking a minute or two to think back at the fact that, you know what? Um, there's still things in my day, even though it might have been chaotic, that I can still be thankful for and I can still go to sleep appreciating. And like I said, it's easy to do that, especially as a single parent, because you're just by yourself as the adult. So like if you don't have a spouse to remind you of that, to encourage you, to be like, hey babe, actually, I know you had a rough day at work, but something positive like this and this happened, or I fixed the sink, or we're going to grandma's this weekend, so something to look forward to. Like you got to do that coaching yourself. So
Hmm.
hence why we do little episodes like these on the podcast, just to remind, for me, like this is going to be a good reminder for me to sitting here talking about gratitude for an hour, but to hopefully remind you listeners as well to maybe take this time to slow down and just think about what you do have to be thankful for, even if it's something small like you picked up a new book or you found a nice new coffee shop and that's the only spotlight of joy you have in your life right now. Just still maybe reflect on those things. But how about you? Like, how's things? I know you said work's crazy, how things are going. Like,
Yes.
anything else with you before we start talking about some specific things we're thankful for?
Well, yeah, work has just been crazy. I mean, I've been fine, but I think, um, I feel like this is supposed to be the happiest time of the year with all of the holidays and everything like that, but I can't help to think about how I'm like, oh, dang, like I'm running low on money and I have to buy gifts for the holidays and I have a Friendsgiving this weekend
Okay.
and I'm like, okay, shit, I still have to prepare my dish. I don't even know what I'm making fully. I have to go to the grocery store. When am I going to find to do that? And then, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I have to cook it tonight. Ooh, so I feel like there's so many things and I feel like to somebody who maybe doesn't know me that well, like, when I go to work, I'm super holly and jolly and, like, like, super positive, and I feel like even, like, on the podcast too, like, I try and be positive, and I try and give you all the positive vibes and everything like that, but to the people that I'm, like, super close with, like, friends or family, I, like, call my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, I'm just dying. Like, I'm just so overwhelmed and I'm so tired but I think it's because I can feel vulnerable with those people, so I could just be like, I am just feeling drained and tired. I feel like I've got a lot on my plate right now and all of the things. So, when curating my list of things that I was thankful for, I feel like mine aren't like huge, big things
Okay.
because I feel like I really have to focus on the little wins because, like, there's huge things that I could be thankful for my friends, my family, the home that I live in, my dogs being healthy, my son being healthy, me being healthy, still having money to buy groceries. Like, there are so many things. Like, those are big things. And obviously, I'm super thankful for those things, but there are little municipal things
Okay.
that I don't always think about where I'm like, wow, like this just feels so good. Like this makes me feel at ease and calm. So I will say this very first one that I want to talk about kind of relates to that. I feeling tired, overwhelmed, whatever. And so oftentimes I forget that I need to take care of myself because I'm always taking care of business, I'm taking care of my son, I'm taking care of my friends, my family. I'm like giving to everybody else, and sometimes I forget to give and take care of myself, whether it's doing something like a face mask or I mean, I guess I do my nails, but they're just press on, so they only take me a couple minutes. But, taking the time to like make myself tea at night or like I don't know, give myself a foot massage, but that's kind of weird. I don't think I could do that for myself. So, my very first one that I think that I need to start getting in the habit of doing again, that I'm very, very thankful for is bubble baths.
Ooh,
That's like
okay.
such a simple thing. Last week I bought some bubble bath like soap for Grayson because when I use his normal body soap in the bathtub, it doesn't like get as sudsy and have a lot of bubbles. So I decided to get an actual soap that is for a bubble bath to make bath time more fun. Parents, you get it. Um, and when I was doing that, I was like, you know what? I used to put Grayson to sleep and then I would get myself like a drink of some sort, and I would make sure my phone is charged, and I would get in a bubble bath, and I would, like, watch something on my phone, and I would, like, sip on some sort of drink, and I used to think about how, like, nice it felt, and I just felt so relaxed and at ease at the end of a long day, and I'm super thankful that I'm still able to, like, be in a state where I could still take care of myself and have like the opportunity to do that because I feel like we forget to take care of ourselves. So, something that I'm super duper thankful for is self-care, taking baths, being able to what's the word that I'm looking for? Something yourself. To spoil yourself. Yes. I am thankful that I'm able to spoil myself in self-care kinds of ways. Do you ever have, like, any self-care? Like, do you do anything like that besides watching reality TV?
Um, besides watching, oh yes, I love walking. Walking's my favorite, one of my favorite things in the world
Yes.
to do. Like even I have a dog now, so I just take him and we have like a community college that's like a perfect circle that takes about 20 or so minutes to walk just one lap of that. So in the evenings, once I'm done with everything, I'll just sometimes put on like a podcast or something I want to listen to, or some things I'll just raw dog the walk with
Yeah,
no
raw dog
music,
that
no
thing.
nothing, just my thoughts, and I'll just walk. But before I even had my dog, I would just go out by myself for sometimes an hour or more at a time and just walk. And I love it more than like that's my favorite like form of like fitness. Like
Mhm.
not never been like a huge gym person, but like walking is like my thing. Besides, at the end of the day, sitting down watching reality show with popcorn or something like that. But if I could walk every single day. Like it gets tough now because it's getting a little chilly, so I have to time it.
Yeah.
But if I could just walk every day for at least an hour, my mental health would be peak.
Have you ever traveled for hiking?
No, that sounds fun though.
Oh my god, I went to, like, Yellowstone and Grand
Okay.
Teton, and
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like I've had so many amazing experiences while traveling, and I know that Japan is about to be that
Mm-hmm.
in January,
Yeah.
but right now, my top most amazing trip I've ever been on was to Yellowstone and Grand Teton because being in nature, oh, you feel so alive. And, like, you're like, "I can't believe I live on this beautiful
Yeah.
earth where you see animals and rainbows and trees and waterfalls," and I actually literally have a tattoo of it now because of how special it was to me, and it's actually the matching tattoo that I have with my brothers. We
Okay.
took a picture as we were hiking, like, on a waterfall, and we decided to get it tattooed on us because that was a really meaningful trip to all 3 of us, and we were looking for some way to, like, have a sibling tattoo, and so that was what we landed on, so 10 out of 10 for hiking, going on walks, oh, freak, I love those things too. That's another great, um, version of self-care, listening to music, podcasts. People should go on walks, and they should listen to the Single Parents Podcast.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yes, there's nothing I do. I actually I've done that before. I hate just like a little behind the scenes, I guess. Like I have to like obviously edit the podcast, so I listen through like each episode at least 2 times, maybe more depending on what needs to be done to it. But it's torture because I hate like hearing my voice because I'm sure like everybody else, like you just like, oh, that's what I sound like. So it's
Yeah.
hell. But there'll be times where I'm out on a walk and I like want to just listen back to something from the podcast and I'll put it on just to like hear what I want to hear. And then I'll stop thinking about it and I'll just be walking and I'll be listening to it and I'll be like, "Oh, holy crap. Like this is good. This is
Yeah.
my podcast. That's me." And I want to
Right.
like I'll just listen to it like I'm listening to like a regular podcast or not regular, but like somebody else's podcast and be like, "Yeah, good point. This is entertaining." And I'm like, "Oh, wait. Okay, wait, okay." So
Slay,
it
crushing
is a
it.
good walk. It's a good walking podcast. I do agree with that.
Woohoo! Let's hear about something that you're thankful for.
Something I'm thankful for recently. So when we were kind of coming up with these examples, we didn't want to do like the whole like cliche like, oh, thankful for my kids, thankful for blah blah blah, because you guys already predict that. But one aspect of parenting that I'm super thankful for is the fact that my kids getting older. uh Not well, actually, as of this episode coming out, my youngest daughter will be 9 years old tomorrow. Her birthday's on
Wow.
Thanksgiving. I just remembered
Yay.
that. So I'll have a 9-year-old, and then my eldest is 10. So I have 2 growing kids. I'm halfway to having adults. Like that's kind of weird to think about. Like I'm halfway
Yeah.
there, unless I hit the reset button somehow. But as of right now, it's just me, which means I'm halfway there. But as they're getting older, they're forming obviously their own lives, their own experiences, their own emotions, their own relationships, their own social context. So part of that means they're going to experience like life. And sometimes that means frustrations, confusions, embarrassments. Like they, will get embarrassed and they'll talk about how they needed to get out of certain situations. So it's just so interesting, like hearing them talk about those big feelings. But what I'm thankful for is me being like their dad. I'm able to look back at my 35 years of life on this planet and pull stories and things from my own experiences that I can share with them to help them process certain things in their own journeys. So, for example, embarrassment, right? Like, I don't know how it came up, but one of my daughters was just dealing with something embarrassing recently. And so we were talking about it and I was like, yeah, so actually, oh, I think it was something has to do with like getting out of something. Like they were embarrassed about something so they didn't want to do it. So they said something to the effect of like, well, what if I do XYZ so that way I don't have to go cuz blah 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 blah. And so I was like, you know what? Like I have a kind of an embarrassing story that I kind of thought similar thoughts about when I was your guys' age. When I was younger, for some reason, like they took my middle school class to the mountains to go skiing and snowboarding like every other week or something like that. Maybe been even like once a week because I lived on military bases growing up, so there wasn't a ton of kids. So maybe that was just something for the kids on the base to do. And so all of my friends and I would get on a bus and go to these ski resorts. But my friends were super, super good at skiing and snowboarding. I, novice, had never even gone before our class started doing those trips. So they would like book it to like these double diamonds runs that they would go on. But me being, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, I wasn't emotionally mature enough to say, hey guys, I'm going to stick on the bunny slope because I've never been skiing before or snowboarding before. You guys go to those double diamonds. I'll catch up with you later. Didn't do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
My friends like, come with us, Anthony, let's go. No, you have to come with us. You have to come with us. And, peer pressure and all that. I'm like, yeah, sure. Never been on one of these, but yeah, I'll go on a double diamond with you. And so it was horrible because obviously I didn't do so well getting down that mountain. So when I knew another trip was coming up and my friends were talking about, yeah, we're going to go again. We're going on another double diamond run, blah, blah, blah. Instead of just being like, hey, skiing, snowboarding, just not my thing. I don't want to go. Or saying, hey, when I go, I'm not going on those double diamond runs again. I'm going to stick to the bunny slopes instead of doing anything like that. Because again, I was a child. I was too embarrassed to admit that I didn't want to do something. I thought in my head, oh, I have a great idea. There's a little hill next to my house. If I happen to roll down that hill or fall down it in a way that it breaks my arm, then that's the perfect excuse and I don't have to go skiing or snowboarding next week.
Oh my
So
God.
so I would spend time throwing myself off this hill trying to break an arm and so I didn't have to go skiing and snowboarding with my friends. And I told my kids that and they were just like looking at me like, that's so weird, that's so dumb, that's so funny. And so we were able to talk through their own, hesitations and embarrassments and how to handle situations you don't really want to be in through my own silly, goofy stories from my own life. So it's cool because, 12, 13-year-old Anthony obviously didn't know that him doing stupid stuff like that would one day be used as lessons to encourage his own kids by. But I'm thankful that even though there's been a lot of embarrassing and tough things that I've been through in my life, I'm thankful now that I'm able to pull from those stories and start sharing those things with my kids to hopefully help shape them, or more importantly, just to help them know that they're not alone in the stuff that they're feeling, that their dad has felt those same things. So if they need to talk through anything, it's not just talking to a parent, but talking to their dad who can relate to them in that type of way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. You're sharing all of your wisdom through your experiences, which might I add, your experiences and some of your decisions, the things that you're cooking, the things that you were doing, you you're just like a knucklehead. Knucklehead is like my new word. I call people at
I
work
like it. I
knuckleheads,
like
but
it.
you're actually a
Yeah.
knucklehead. The Pop Tarts,
Pop
unhinged.
Tarts,
The
breaking my
hill,
arm, trying to break my arm.
OMG. You're
Yeah.
actually a knucklehead, but
Yeah.
you have lots and lots of wisdom,
Hmm.
and it is
Yeah.
such a beautiful thing to, I mean, like, obviously, we've made lots and lots of mistakes in our lives, but it's great because we get to teach and talk about those things with our children to hope that they will not make those same mistakes. Because I know there are so many things that, like, my mom or dad have talked with me about things that they've done, and, um and I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't wanna make that same mistake." Or there has been oh my god, I'll never this one's so funny. Um, okay, well, I'm really sharing something controversial, not really.
Okay.
Basically, I got in trouble in college, and I got arrested.
Nice. Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
and I just couldn't believe that I actually got arrested for what I got arrested for. It was insane. It was so stupid. I couldn't believe it. So
Oh,
I had, like, a
human
crazy
human
ex.
trafficking.
No, no, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Good.
Okay,
Tax evasion.
you guys, you're really getting to know me. This is, like, really funny.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Let's
So
go.
I
I'm
had,
I'm
like, a crazy
curious.
ex, bad
Okay.
relationship, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
After we broke up, his friend this guy was supposed to be his friend. Him, my roommate, and I decided that we were gonna put food all over my ex-boyfriend's car. We did peanut butter and handles. My favorite thing that I did, I put he had a truck. I put instant mashed potatoes in the bed of his truck, and I put vinegar all over it. So the instant mashed potatoes fluffed up in the back of his truck and smelled like absolute shit. Hilarious. You guys, I'm not giving you any ideas, but I will say that it was really funny. And then we put like flour all over his windshield. Hilarious. It was so funny. But it was also just like it's not like we did anything, like, super detrimental, like, it was embarrassing, he needed to go to a car wash and wash it all off, like, it was just supposed to be embarrassing and funny, like, "Ha, take that for being a shitty
Right.
boyfriend." But anyway, he got us arrested for that.
Like, what was the
Um,
charge?
he
Pro
said that we damaged to property.
Oh, yeah, that's oh my gosh, come
I know,
on.
so it was
That's
really,
not even
really
that bad.
stupid.
I was expecting something way worse.
No, see, okay,
That's
so
high
that's what
school stuff.
yeah, I know. So, like, I got in big trouble for that, and I was arrested, and the police officers were like, "Well, you're obviously being arrested because you were, like, underage and drunk while doing it," and I was like, "No, actually, no."
Oh. Oh,
I
okay.
was like, "No, I don't even know why I'm here right now," and, like, the police officers that brought me to, like, the cell
Huh.
were, like, laughing at the situation. Um, anyway, I had, like this is, like, super controversial, but I had a great time, in the
Okay.
jail because, like, I, like, braided this girl's hair that I was in the cell with, like, I, like, showed them how I can dance, they, like, showed me how they, like, hung the curtain so that they could take showers and stuff, and then they taught me how to, like, talk through the toilet to, like, the neighbors. So, like, it was really fun, I'm really glad I got to experience that. Anyway, when I talked to my dad about it, he was like, "Yeah, one time I got arrested for stealing pumpkins from a church." And I'm
What
like,
the
"Oh my god, I just cannot believe that, like, we just got arrested for the dumbest shit." So, anyway, it's good because you can connect with your kids in different ways, like, I was like, "Oh, fuck, should I feel so shitty about myself for, like, getting arrested for this dumb thing?" And my dad was like, "Nah, mine's probably worse. I got arrested for this stupid thing," and he literally laughed, like, when I told him the story, he
Right.
thought it was so funny. Um so anyway, that's like my little
Nice.
tangent
I
off
like
of
it.
it.
Yeah, that's how I love the lore that we're learning. I didn't know you were such a hardened criminal.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm such a bad girl. You like don't even
Such
know.
a bad girl. All right,
Yeah.
bad girl. Well, what's your next thankful point before the cops show
My
up and take you away for something else?
yeah, okay, okay. My next thing, I've been talking about how like work is really, really crazy.
Yeah.
So basically what happens at work is there's like a bunch of different like branches that's like housed in the location that we're at. A bunch of different companies and like people work for different companies. And it's fun because I get to interact with the other people that work for the other companies. Now, I do stuff with wine and other people do stuff with I mean, they do wine too, but they do stuff with beer, they do stuff with cigars, um, and then there's also, like, a new one that does, like, cheese, so it's like you can, like, sign up for these, like, monthly subscriptions, and you could try different kinda coffees, you could try, you can get, like, flowers, beers, cheese, whatever, like, a bunch of different things, cigars, and you could try these new things every month, and I'm very thankful that the work environment, although it may be stressful, it's still a good, fun, positive environment most of the time. Obviously, we all get stressed and stuff, but it's a good, positive environment. And my thing that I'm thankful for stemming from that is I love it when each month we get to do tastings of all these things that are coming in for like these clubs where we're going to send them out to people. So, like, we do cheese tastings, occasional wine tastings, we do chocolate tastings, and we do beer tastings for craft beers. So, each month we get to try all these things, and it's cool because um, although, like, I don't do stuff for all those companies, I still get to participate. I don't really like beer, but it's so cool to try all these things that I never would have tried it on my own if it weren't for that. Like, we get to try cheeses that, like, I've never even heard of, and, like, they're so good, and I'm usually not, like, a chocolate type of gal, but these chocolates, like, are just they're so fun and so good. So, like, something I'm really thankful for is doing all of those tastings each month at work and having like the good positive vibes with the rest of the people in the office and even though like we all do separate things for separate companies. It's fun to like come together and do those things together and have like a sense of community. And I like trying all those new things. So I've become like a cheese and chocolate connoisseur, if you will.
So do
So
you guys
not
like
not
do
beer.
it on the same like day? So like do you guys just like go all together like on a certain time of the month and just eat, drink, and be merry, or is it like random depending on the product?
It's pretty random depending on the product. Like we all work in close uh proximities. And, like, say, like, a cheese delivery, like, we get the samples at the beginning of the month, we'll do those and pass them out, and then chocolates are usually not far after that, and then the beers, my brothers like to join in for, so and then everybody gathers together and does, like, the beers and the wines and stuff, so it kinda just happens as, like, the samples are given to us, um, at our warehouse, but, yeah, it's usually not, like, one solid day where we do it. It's, like, trickled
Okay. I was
throughout
gonna
the
say
month,
it'd
but
be
it's
so
so
cool
nice.
to like have if it was like one day, because then you just know like you're gonna go eat and drink and feel good at work. I think that maybe I don't know, that might be dangerous for me because I
Yeah.
might have one or too many beer or wine samples and then get in trouble.
Yeah. No, this you have to drive home, and actually tomorrow you know what? We actually do, like, fun, like, staff outings amongst all of the companies and stuff, and tomorrow we're going out to dinner and, like, bar hopping and stuff, and that's just, like, a normal thing for us because it's a small business,
Yeah.
so, I mean, there are, like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 employees that like work with the different companies in like the office areas. I mean, there's a lot more that, make all the operations happen in the warehouse, but um for all the people that work with the different companies like on computers and stuff, we all get together. So it's like super fun. I like it. And we do it like maybe not all the time, but at least twice a year and it's a good time. So
That sounds oh man, that sounds like so much fun. I work fully remote, so like I'm home all the time. And there's a
yeah.
lot of perks to it. Like it's nice because I don't have to drive in the snow when it's snowing outside. I don't have to like if I'm feeling like I always like shower and like actually get dressed in the day. It just helps like my mind be in the work state. But when I'm feeling crappy, if I don't want to even do anything, I could just work in my PJs, wrap myself in a blanket, and just push on through until I'm off, and then crawl into bed without having to like worry about being around people while sick. Or I don't know. So, anyways, there's a lot of like benefits to it, but that is the part I do miss about working in a environment with other employees is that social aspect and making friends that way and doing stuff after work. So that's really cool.
Tell me about the next thing that you are thankful for.
So the next thing I'm thankful for is going to be a little maybe it might be a little intense. It's not going to be as intense as maybe I would even like it to be because the words that I want to use to talk about this specific person
Oh,
uh it's language that I can't really use right now because my
wait, are
daughters
you about to
are
spill some tea?
well, I'm about to call somebody out because
Oh,
they
yay.
made
Okay.
my blood boil over the last week. But my daughters
Okay.
are right behind the wall behind me, and
Okay.
it doesn't.
Safe game.
I don't do it very often. I really don't. But they don't like it when I use any type of like foul language.
Mhm.
They don't like that whatsoever. So I don't know. Sometimes if they can hear me recording, so out of respect for them, I'm gonna keep it tame, but I'm still going to share some thoughts about what this person said because I think this person's a scumbag and I think he deserves to be called out. So, just a little trigger warning, by the way, for maybe some people who are about to hear what I'm about to say. So, if you need to skip forward ahead a little bit to see Jessica talking about whatever happy, positive thing she's going to talk about next, you can do that. Um, but for context, I guess, why I'm thankful for this little part of the podcast is because, as I kind of alluded to in my first example with my school friends, throughout most of my life, I would say that I would be described as like a follower, right? Like I
Mhm.
want love and acceptance from my friends, my peers, relationship, family, whatever. So instead of really being bold and always being open and honest about my feelings, I'll kind of just default to whatever the main group of people or anybody around me has to say or think, or be cautious about what they might say or think about stuff that I have to say, and just not rock the boat too much. And I think that probably comes from the fact that, like I said, being a military kid, grew up on military bases, like I was always moving around like the first early part of my life. Like every 3 years, we'd move to a different state, which means new schools, which means trying to form new friends. And so, like, every time I did maybe start to warm up and be like, hey, this is the real Anthony, I'd have to move away and start that process again. So I just had to kind of figure out how to fit in. And when my dad got out of the military and we settled in our like hometown, made a lot of really great friends, and I still have those close friends. One of those friends being the bacon Pop Tart bro. Still friends with him. Like we've known each other since high school, since maybe even before high school. But in those circumstances, like no, I wasn't. Maybe like I was like the only like black kid in a group of like white kids, and these white kids were like punk rock kids, like hardcore shows, mosh pit kids. And so like I would just show up and I would look different, but I would just again default to whatever they were into and I would get into it, and I would just kind of just be like the token black friend, if you will. And people
Mhm.
have called me that before. And then to into adulthood, I got like really like into like religion and being involved in the church, and so tried to seek like acceptance from a lot of people there. And then not only that, but because of my work at a church, I moved to a town that was mostly made up of Caucasian people at the time. Now it's a little bit more diverse, but the town I live in is just, you'll definitely notice when you see somebody of a different color because there's not that many of us around here. And so I had to gain acceptance from them. So I share all that to say my whole life I really battled with being bold and transparent and upfront with how I'm feeling. And so I'm thankful now as I sit here about to call out the scumbag, that I've worked through a lot of that. I've grown from a lot of that. I've gotten comfortable with myself to where, like, now I'm not afraid to be bold. I'm not afraid to say what I need to say. I'm not afraid to put myself on a camera behind a mic every week and share all these things. And, well, what are people going to think when they hear the podcast or when I post clips on Instagram? Don't really care because, like, this is who I am. These are my thoughts. And especially when I
Yeah.
see injustice going down, I'm not going to be the token friend anymore. I'm going to be Anthony, and Anthony has
Yeah.
some things to
Say
say.
that
So,
shit.
anyways, a little build up. So I say all that to say, I was scrolling through Twitter last week, and I came across this tweet. And I'm going to say your name because you were bold enough to put this out there. So I'm going to say your name, and you're going to keep owning it. I know people have been cooking you, well deserved. And the person who wrote this tweet is a pastor, Stephen L. Anderson. He is the pastor of a church called Faithful Word Baptist in Phoenix, Arizona. And if you guys have been watching the news or anything, especially towards the end of October, you know, a lot of people were kind of nervous and trying to figure out stuff when it comes to food and people losing government assistance and stuff like that. So a lot of single parents, especially single mothers, were scared over the last few weeks and trying to figure out what they needed to do just to feed their kids because maybe they just weren't making enough money. But Pastor Stephen L. Anderson, this yellow teeth Muppet looking fool, had this to say about single mothers and their situations. He said, I would be pissed if I donated to a church and found out that they were giving the Lord's money to single mother whores. I would want it to go to the Lord's work or towards helping godly Christians who are in need. Churches should not be funding fornicators and their bastards. Yeah. The pastor said that boldly with his full chest on Twitter. And like I said, I wish if my kids weren't here, I could really share how I really think and feel about Pastor Steven Anderson. But to keep it respectful to my children in the other room, Pastor Steven Anderson, you are a scumbag and you are a tool and you deserve all the worst in your life. And I hope that comes your way, because to refer to single mothers as whores, beyond crazy. To refer to them as fornicators and their kids as bastards, insane. And I've had people, I posted this on my personal Instagram, because when I read that, it really got to me. It really got to me. So I posted it, and I had some people message me being like, "Oh, well, he's maybe known as like a crazy person or a crazy pastor, or not everybody's like that." Blah blah, blah, kind of downplaying it. But I don't care. This is a grown man. He got online and he said something crazy like that with his whole chest. So I'm gonna say something with my whole chest. I don't care how crazy he is or how people don't. We're not supposed to listen to him. He is. I think you're a scumbag. So I hope the worst for you. I hope that you have everything coming to you that you deserve for putting out that tweet. Because, like I said, I know people are cooking you left and right. But Pastor Steven Anderson, you are the worst. And I'm glad that I'm comfortable with myself enough to say that with my full chest, 10 toes down, and put that on the internet. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Yeah, you should never be afraid to share your opinion, honestly. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think what's hard is like people share their opinions and you're automatically like canceled for whatever opinion that
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah.
Like when you put it on the internet, and I mean, especially him, um, his way of communicating his thoughts and opinions was super outlandish and aggressive and whatever. And a lot of people do that on social media. They like say these outrageous things. Like, I feel like if you have a certain opinion on something, there's definitely a way to say it on social media to where it's not like crazy and absurd. So I don't know. That's just, and like while we're on the thought of or the topic a little bit of religion, uh, and it's crazy because I literally just talked with my mom about this. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, was it yesterday or was it Tuesday? I talked to my mom on the phone. No, it was Monday. It was Monday. Um, I talked to my mom on the phone, and she was talking about like me having kids again. And so my mom, like background, my mom is really religious.
Okay.
Which is fine, like, I support her,
Yeah.
like, I am religious in a sense, but she is extremely religious and faithful, and it brings her a lot of peace in her life, and I feel great about that for her. Everybody believes their own things, and I'm supportive of all. Uh, w She asked me about me having kids again and what my plan is for that. And I was like, well, I really don't want to have kids again with anybody until I'm married. That's just kind of what I feel. Um, and we talked about how, like, it's a sin to engage in those acts and create a child before marriage. And she said sometimes there's an oopsies. Makes
Sure. Yeah.
sense. Which is what I did, like
Yeah.
whatever I'm a sinner. God forgive me. I had an oopsies, whatever, but
Sure.
my plan for the future is to not have children until I'm married, and there are oopsies sometimes, but I wouldn't want to be called like a whore by somebody that I'm supposed
Exactly.
to look up to because
Right.
I made a mistake. Like, okay, yes, I'm
Hmm.
a sinner. I made a mistake. I ended up a single mom, all of the things, but that doesn't make me less of a human or a single mom or a whore. Like, I
Preach it.
believe
Preach it.
truly I'm not those things.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, again, I made a mistake. I am a sinner, but I'm not gonna have somebody that's supposed to be godly calling me a whore. that's not the way that you handle it. So him to say stuff like that is just completely outlandish, and I feel like I should talk to my mom about that certain topic of she would my god, she'd probably go off the rails with him saying some stuff like that. Um, yeah, I don't know, but that was, like, my little connection because my mom and I
Yeah.
actually just talked about stuff similar, but I would never wanna be called something like that, especially by somebody who's supposed to, like, lead the youth and, you know, I don't know. That
No,
doesn't
it's crazy because I just hate statements like that because I hate like broad strokes that just paint everybody in a certain demographic or certain race or certain, background a certain way. So
Mhm,
like all single moms are whores. All, minorities are this. All men are like this. All women are like this. And that's just
mhm.
so it's just lazy to me if anything else because instead of taking the time to actually get to
Research.
know people and research and have conversations and hear people's stories, you just be like, well, all, of this demographic is just automatically this. And it's lazy and easy to do that. What's tough is like sitting down and be like, hey, so like you're a single mom. Okay, that's interesting. Like, tell me your story. And
Mhm.
she'll share with you, like, maybe it was an oopsie, maybe it was rape, maybe it
Yeah.
was my partner was here and he or she passed away. Maybe it was we talked about this before. I legit had full intentions on being in a marriage and being with this person, but they left or they turned out
Yeah.
to be somebody I didn't like. There's all these different scenarios. So it's just to paint a whole demographic this one thing, it's just lazy and it's foolish and it just really pisses me off
Insensitive.
because and insensitive and because I just know there's so many good people out there with stories and who would love to like sit down and share their experiences if people would just take the time to slow down and do that, but instead they just want to be, like you said, insensitive and whatever. So, anyways, I'm just proud
Yeah.
of I'm thankful for the fact that we have the ability through this show just to speak truth and to call out people who need to be called out, but also build up the people who need to be built up. Because I couldn't imagine like how maybe some of the moms, single moms in particular, who read that or who go to that church and hear those words, how much that had to have stung, like
Right.
especially people who trust that guy as maybe their own pastor, to hear somebody you trust speak to you like that had to have hurt. So I'm glad
Right.
we have the show to remind people that no, that's not the truth. Like you have your own story and you need to live into your own truth. So anyways,
Yes.
that's my that's my tame version of sharing that my
Yeah,
thoughts on
I'm
that.
proud of
So
you. You did a very good job. You
thank you.
articulated your feelings very well without
Yes.
going way too far, like kind of how he did. So
Yes,
I feel
yes,
like you did a very,
yes.
very good job. I'm proud of
Thank you.
you. Um,
I didn't want to get in trouble because quick funny story. I was editing the the am I in and I have to censor it because my kids are here. Am I the a-hole episode we did couple episodes ago? So I was editing that and one of my daughters jumped up and she said, "What did you say?" And I was like, "Oh, I was just reading this thing. We were just doing this episode." She's like, "No, you never say that." And so, anyways, they're very.
oh, she's such a good girl.
I got in trouble, so I have to be on my p's and q's. So,
Yes.
anyways,
All
all right.
right.
So, what's your last thing? And then I'll share my last thing. But I definitely wanted to go last. But I want to hear yours though. So we'll slow down. What's yours? What's yours?
Well, I mean, my last one isn't anything crazy, but this is like a small thing that maybe not a lot of people could resonate with, but I will say that it's something that would really resonate with my family and I.
Okay.
By my brother's house, there was a sushi place that was close by. And my brother and his wife, they like to try out new restaurants, new things, different types of foods and stuff. And so I think they must have saw it on like a Facebook page, like their neighborhood page, and it was like, "Oh, come to this place for sushi." And so it was some place that was on their bucket list that they wanted to try at some point. And it was close to the house, so it was convenient, you know? It's like a not even a 10-minute drive to get there. Um, so they went to this place and they actually really enjoyed it. It was a sushi place.
Okay.
And they were like, wow, it's actually really, really good. It wasn't very busy. And I think this is like something that my family, like, we just, this is just so instilled in us. I think probably because my dad does it and now my brothers do it. And now it's something that I do. Um, if it's a smaller business and we really, really like them, um, and you don't see that they get a lot of business, we want to be their business and we want to support them and we want to help them grow. Um, so we started going to this place all the time. And anytime we could have a lot of people show up, we would. We would bring our friends, we would bring our families, significant others, cousins, like we were just bringing whoever we could. Um, to come to this place because we truly believed in the business and we love the owner. We think that she is amazing. Her
Nice.
name is Susie.
Ooh, shout out
And
Susie.
yeah, Susie is just the best. So I had Grayson, and he was a newborn going to this place. We would bring him all the time as a newborn, and he would be in his car seat. And Susie loved him, and the employees loved him. Like, I mean, it was really like it was Susie, it was like one chef and then one server, and they would all just, help out with whatever. And Susie, I got her phone number. And I would text her sometimes and be like, "Hey Susie, we're going to come tomorrow. We're going to come this weekend. Like make sure you have enough like salmon for us or whatever." And she gosh, I don't even know how it happened, but she asked me for pictures of my son because she wanted to put pictures up of him in the restaurant.
What? Oh, that's so
Yes.
cool.
And so I sent
Wow.
over her pictures and I said, pick whichever one that you like. And the next time I went to the restaurant, she had a picture of Grayson on the wall and it says youngest regular customer.
Wow.
And so, like, I was just like, we have made like such a great connection with somebody that we truly believe in their business. They weren't always busy, but I'll tell you what, when we showed up, they were busy. Um, we spent a lot of money there, and she also gave us a lot
Sure.
of free things. Like,
Oh yeah.
Susie is just truly the best. So she was renting her place, and I guess her landlord kind of sucked and the rent just kept going up and she was responsible for all these repairs. The air conditioning wasn't working and it was just she was having so many problems. So um she decided to close her doors. And we were all obviously really sad about it. Um just because we love Susie and the place so much. And so since my brothers and my dad, they, run their own businesses, they said,
Right.
"Well, Susie, if you want to open up in another place, I'd love to give you business advice and we'll help you out. We'll help you so you could be successful." So they were just, they offered their help because Susie is somebody that we really care about her business and whatever. Um and she basically, like, became, like, a family friend, We started inviting her to, like, 4th of July or whatever. She never came, but we still
Sure.
extended the offer to
Sure.
her. Um,
Yeah.
so Susie officially opened up in a new location.
Yeah, let's go. Okay.
And
Phew. I was hoping that's how
yes.
that story was gonna end. I thought it was gonna be so sad.
No, 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 no.
That's
Susie
awesome.
opened up in a new location. And what I'm really, really thankful for is honestly Susie and her sushi. Her place is called, well, before it was Susie's Sushi, but I think now it's called Sushi Susie. Um, so I think technically, if you're in Illinois or the Chicagoland area, Susie's place is, I think it's considered Deerfield. If you look up to like,
Okay.
or looked up Sushi Susie, she has all you can eat sushi for $30 now,
Yeah.
and it's like a
Ooh,
killer
that's a good
deal.
deal.
And
Yeah.
Susie literally just reopened last week, so she needs business. and
Okay.
Grayson's picture is still up on the wall. She packed it up and she made sure that she brought it to her new location. So shout out to Susie for being so amazing. Um, so one thing I'm really, really thankful is just Susie and her sushi. And actually, that's where my family and I are going to dinner tonight. So I'm super excited to support her restaurant, her small business, and see her thrive in this new location. So I'm just so thankful for her.
That's such a cool story. Like, dang, that was a really, really, really good story. Like, again, that's kind of what I was talking about before. Like, that's the stuff I love is that everybody just has their own story and everybody just
Mhm,
needs the little bit of effort to invest and be invested in, right? Like you had no personal investment in Susie the first time you went to her restaurant, but you developed that and she reciprocated that by asking you for a picture of Grayson and what she did on the wall and then with your brothers and your family offering business advice. Like that is just what I love. Like it's just not a bunch of people out here making these generic statements about each other. It's just real people helping each other
mhm.
out, learning each other's stories. So like that's super awesome. And if you guys do live in the Illinois, Chicago area, we'll just put the address and the
Yes.
socials or whatever she has for Susie's business. I'll put it in the description of this podcast so you can scroll down. And if you happen to see that address and be like, oh, that's not too far, then you guys should go check it out. That's awesome.
Yeah, you should, and then say that Jessica and Anthony sent you there, and
Hey,
try and
there we
find,
go.
Grayson's picture on the wall.
Ah, man, I'm really glad you shared that story. Like, that's gonna kind of segue me into my last point, and I purposely wanted to
Yay.
go last because, as I have kind of been alluding to this whole episode, and my examples had this little theme about just relationally being able to just be myself and to form those genuine relationships with people that's not based on me performing so that way they'll accept me, because that's just been a thing my whole life. Is like if I act this way, say talk this way, do these things, then I'll like earn people's love and acceptance and then they'll stick around and stay in my life. And I've had to work through that and therapy and self-reflection, and now I like I said, I really feel like I've come to a place where I'm really comfortable with that, but it's still tough, like fully being able to put yourself out there to somebody else and just be like, hey, this is who I am, this is kind of what's up, I hope that you're cool with it because I think you're cool, and let's see if we vibe, because you just never know like how that's going to go or if somebody's just not going to vibe with you. But when it comes to my amazing co-host Jessica, the person who I'm super thankful for, my last thankful point of the day is Jessica, because
Oh,
this is going to get super deep, but I don't know, I'm very 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 thankful for her for several reasons. Um the first, I guess, big reason to kind of piggyback off what I've been building up, saying, talking about, is through the fact that this past summer, when we first started talking about bringing her onto the podcast and what that would look like I was scared, honestly, because like this show is like an extension of like myself, because I have all these dreams and ambitions with it and this vision, and I have a big heart for it. So me like really putting that out there and then taking that to somebody else and being like, hey, so do you think this is cool, you want to be involved, was like a lot for me. And it took me a lot of courage to even text her about that the first time, set up that meeting. And so when she's like, yeah, cool, and we developed it to what the show is now, there were still times when my own fears and insecurities would creep in and cast doubt in my head. Not about Jessica, because she's in a top tier A1 person, so I've never doubted hers in particular, but I doubted the fact that, can I truly do this thing authentically and have somebody truly stick around and be cool with that? Whether it could have been Jessica or anybody, like that's just something I had to wrestle with. So I never told you this, but there's been times, even this week, to be honest, like there's times where I would just text Jessica like, "Hey, so what's the plan for this week's podcast episode? Here are my thoughts." And I would expect, because of my own fears and insecurities, her to respond being like, so actually, like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like, this isn't it. Like, I'm done with you. Like, I'm whatever." And because, like, I hope you're okay with me sharing this, but like, we had to like reschedule recording this episode a couple of times because you have, as you said, you're having dinner with your family. And so we ended up having to record on the same day that you're having dinner with your family. So like, I felt like such a pest, like messaging you about that. And I kept expecting you to be like, "You know what, screw it. Like, no, we're just not doing it this week. I can't, like, this is just too much, blah, 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 blah." And I was so scared. And then you've had a lot of stuff going on at work, but my own insecurities was like, she hates me. She doesn't want to do this
Oh
anymore.
my god.
Like, she's not responding right. And so like, I love how every single time, like, we haven't known each other for super long, but I'm
Mhm.
thankful rather that every single time those insecurities come up just from my own past, things I've had to work through, you've still showed up with smiles, and you still showed up with enthusiasm and with your trademark slay to every time like
Yeah,
I
wait.
share like an idea. Like, she always responds like, "Slay, I love it, so excited."
Yeah.
And like, that has just done a lot for me. Like, I'm super thankful for that, because like, it's very, like, if you've been watching and listening to the podcast since maybe the very beginning, years ago when I started it, then you'll see like, I've had, other co-hosts on the show, and they've come and they've gone. And so like, there hasn't been a lot of consistency there, but I'm thankful that I feel like I've truly found somebody who I can truly just be authentic and real with. And when my own insecurities pop up, she still shows up, and she's still smart and articulate and all those things. And I always tell her this, but her mantra of like, chill vibes, rings through my head multiple times throughout the day. Whenever I'm tempted to be stressed or to overthink something, or like, "Oh, how's this going to work?" I just hear Jessica say, "Chill vibes," in my head. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, chill vibes. We'll figure it out." And guess what? I always figure it out. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. I am super thankful for you, Jessica. Thank you for
Oh.
just just being there and being you. So that's why I wanted to go last, because I had to hype you up. We have to end by me
Oh.
hyping you up, because you're awesome.
No, oh my god, wait, I just love, like, when you get in your feels like that because, like, I honestly don't ever really hear that, and it's so nice that you're really, like, verbal about it to be like, "You're
Hmm.
so great, you're so amazing." Like, I pretty much, like, never hear that, and for someone to, like, say it and you say it so often, honestly, like, you tell me how great I am, I'm like, "Shit, am I the shit? I am the shit, I must be." But, like but that's the thing is, like, I don't think that I'm doing, like, all of this, like, crazy, like, stuff. I mean, like, yeah, like, I come prepared, I have my notes, I have my pieces of paper, I have my printouts, like, every time we film, but, like and honestly, like, this is my first time doing this, so you coming up with the ideas that you do, like, I'm always like, "Oh my god, shit, he's so smart, he knows exactly what he's doing, he knows exactly what the people wanna hear," like and you make it easier for me, like, like, and I don't even know how we both do it, honestly, like, because I know that you have so much on your plate, but you always end up you do all the editing because, like, I don't know how to do that. You do all the downloads, you're, like, posting a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, "Fuck, like, I'm slacking, I need to do more, gosh dang it." So, I mean, like, you also do a really, really great job, so you need to give yourself credit for, like, how great you are, I just all the feels, so thankful. I'm so grateful for what is going to come of this podcast and of the friendship and, all the things. Like it just feels so good. It feels so nice. And it was, you literally texted me about, like what day we were going to film and stuff. I thought we were filming on Monday
Oh yeah.
and you were like, actually, let's do it
Yeah, that was my
Thursday.
fault.
No, no, it doesn't it's literally fine. It's really not that big of a deal, but, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get, dinner with my family maybe," and you were like, "Oh, I don't wanna ruin that." I'm like, "I feel like it's just chill vibes, like, I just feel like it's fine. It's really not that big of a deal. I just show up later, and I still get to stuff my face with sushi, and I'm thankful for it, you know?" I got to do 2 great things in one day. I got to film the podcast and I got to eat
Ooh.
sushi. So there's just so much to be thankful for. So thank you.
Of course, yes. Man, that just makes me feel so good. I'm pumped. I really, really am. Like, I know we both have a lot going on, but I think this is just the beginning. There's a lot of really great things coming up. For you listeners, we have, I think, what, Jessica, 2 more episodes until we have our end of the
I
season
think
break.
so.
So we have next week's episode where I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're doing our steamy Q&A. Last
Oh,
week we did our
yeah.
like generic men women conversation. We just asked about how men and women think about certain things, but I think we're doing that again, but we're going to get a little spicier with it. So check that out. And then the week after that, it's our season finale. So we'll wrap things up and then we'll take a little break. And then January, we're coming back strong with a lot of cool stuff. And we're hearing about Jessica's trip to Tokyo. It's just
Oh,
going to be good.
yeah. I'm so excited.
And I think it goes without saying, thank you. I guess my fourth thankfulness of the day. Thank you, listeners, for just joining us every week. We just truly do want the show just to be as real and as authentic as possible. So that might mean, maybe we're not this big fancy podcast with perfect editing and perfect audio and perfect lighting as I got, shadow on my chin, but we just want you all just to know that we're just real people doing this thing too. So same thing with my kids. Like, hopefully by listening to our stories, our mistakes, our embarrassing situations, our ups and our downs, you can understand that you're not alone. You got this, and you got people here who genuinely care. So thank you for listening, for subscribing, for sharing, for doing all the things. We love you guys. I
Oh,
was trying to make a
much
heart. Is
love
that
to
how to
our
make a heart?
people. Yeah, that looks like a heart. You're crushing it. But
That's a
much
heart?
love
Okay.
to our people. We're so glad that you're always joining us. Super thankful for you. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I think you need to get to sushi and I need to get
Oh,
to
yeah.
gymnastics, and then we'll keep rocking and rolling next week.
Yay! I'm so glad. I had such a good time. Thank you guys for listening.
I will see you guys next time. Thank you.
Peace and
Bye.
blessings.